Hey, I'm Chris Anderson, cartoonist, writer, and storyboard artist. My work can be seen in the pages of Creepshow and Heavy Metal. My co-creations, Lost Angels, Spectral Showcase of Fear, and Chaotic Neutral are available now. My upcoming books are Something Seems Off and Three-Headed Pigman, which will be serialized in my Patreon, so go and check that out if you get a chance. Today, I'm going to be talking about my very first Holy Grail comic that I needed to have as a kid, and that is New Mutants number 87. Let's take a look. Welcome to Chris Anderson Comics. So 1988, end of 88, beginning of 89, brought the media blitz that was Tim Burton's Batman. And that was the thing that really put its hooks into me to start reading comics. I was like 11 years old at about that time. And I started to draw Batman like crazy. I drew all the time, but I wasn't really thinking at that moment that, hey, I'm going to be a comic book artist. And I'm not sure if it was the Button Your Fly ad campaign for Levi's that was directed by Spike Lee that starred Rob Liefeld. The commercial that got me to go to the store and check out. I don't know if it was New Mutants number 100 or X-Force number 1, but it was one of those two. It was the first time that I really got a comic where I saw the new wave of comic artists, the hot guys that were working at that time. And Rob Liefeld's work really, really sunk its hooks into me. Then that was followed by, Jim Lee doing and Will Spertasio doing some Uncanny X-Men stuff that I picked up. And I think it was well into probably towards the end of Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man run that I picked up. And then, Eric Larson took over after that. So that was it. Those image creators, when they were still at Marvel, really, really got me. But I swallowed the Rob Liefeld pill really hard. I was talking to Jeff Johnson, an amazing, talked about comic creator. He worked on Wonder Man at the time that these things were coming out, but he's just an incredible draftsman and storyteller. And I said, why did this work sink its teeth so deeply into me? And he said, kids psychologically are attracted to round, curved objects like, cartoony things. And Rob's work is definitely round and curvy. And then humans are also attracted to faces. And he really made you focus on his faces. So when X-Force came out, it was all about Cable. Cable was the shit. Deadpool was cool and stuff, but it wasn't as sought after of a comic, his first appearance, as New Mutants was. So this book came out in 1990. I bought this in 1991 for $50. So went up, 50-fold in a year. I used my confirmation money that my aunt gave me. She was not super happy that I spent it on one single comic book. She really wanted me to put that in the bank. But I was like, this is an investment in my future. It's going to be worth hundreds, thousands of dollars, soon enough. I think it's worth maybe like $90 right now. I'm not sure. I don't even give two shits about that. And I'm not the kind of guy to slab anything. I will never slab this. It just happens to be in the same sort of rigid thing that it came in with the original price tag on it. But I do have this reader copy, this that I probably bought before I actually got that one. This was the second printing of it. It was such a popular comic that they did this gold, edition of it. But yeah, that was the first Holy Grail comic, the book that I needed to have it, and I needed to find it, get it in my possession at all costs, and it would be up on the wall staring at me, and I just had to have it. And it was a prized possession of mine. I haven't looked at this book in years and years and years and years, so I'm sort of rediscovering it with anybody else who hasn't looked at it before. You can see that the original cover was much more saturated. Coloring was different on it, much of a deeper reddish tone. Inked by Todd McFarlane. This is, to me, the best drawing of Cable ever rendered. I think that McFarlane's inking on this has everything to do with that, probably also. I think he did just an amazing job of inking Rob. It was like a match made in heaven. So let's take a look. Let's go in. Let's dive in. So you get the first, or not first appearance, but this is the Mutant Liberation Front coming at you. This hairstyle that Rob would draw on all of the sort of beast kind of characters. He drew Sabretooth's hair like this, and later when he started the X-Force team, he drew Feral's hair like that. So if you were a beastie kind of character, you had that kind of hair. And this is Wild Child, is the name of the Wild Side. I'm sorry, Wild Side is the name of this character. And then you got Reaper and Strobe, Forearm. You got Tempo, and you got Thumbelina. So a bunch of cool characters. And then obviously these sort of faceless minions that they're up against. Now these are bad guys. So the faceless minions actually have mouths. Whereas the bad guys usually were just sort of a shape. But this technique that for drawing eyes, I'm not sure where it comes from, but Jim Lee also did it where it was just sort of this line, but then you have a line under it, and there's this sort of like glint where a pupil would be. Super effective, really attractive. I do not know where it came from, but it works for both of those, and it's sort of a signature of that time period. These layouts too are like pretty straightforward for Rob. We're not getting all the crazy jittery panels yet, and I'm not sure that they come up. But here we go. We're introduced to Cable. He may have been introduced in the very last panel of the issue before this, number 86. I'm not sure. I may have to pull that out and take a look at it. But this character came to really define the 90s, with the big shoulder pads and the pouches and the cyber arm, and he had one scarred eye and one glowing eye, and it was just, man, at that time that was everything. You didn't really see anything like that. And this is some of the few issues that Rob drew Warlock. I think he said on his podcast at some point that he just hated drawing that character that Sienkiewicz designed, and so he wanted it killed off. And like in these Asgardian characters here and this character here, you can really see the influence of Art Adams, I think, that was so prevalent in the superstars of that time. I think there's a comic out that Art Adams did, where he talks about all the clones that came after him that could, draw with his style. And I think that's, his style is really what drew me to these other creators too. Like cartoony big eyes, these like just these fantastic faces. But he joked in it that these artists, were bigger than he was because they were faster than he was, and therefore got the big bucks that he probably didn't too. Yeah, very subdued panel borders for Rob in this. I loved Boom Boom and Cannonball in their X-Force iterations. I just love the way that the fire like blasted out of his lower torso, and she like kind of threw colors and stuff. It was just really, really cool characters. And then here you get Strife. The first time I think that you see him. Such a unique, wild character design with all these spikes and this massive helmet. Just, when you're 12 years old, or however old I was when I was first looking at this, probably 12. That's everything a 12-year-old needs. And then to look at it, there's a lot of criticism of Rob's artwork. Some of it, to be sure, is justified. Some of it not, because I think a lot of times people look at something through the prism of being an adult and criticizing something, and they don't have any relationship to their 12-year-old selves anymore. They think they do, but they don't. And this is perfectly wonderful if you're a 12-year-old looking at this stuff. My dad would look at it, and he would sort of scoff at it and say that it's just too busy, and I would tell him he's crazy, and he was absolutely right. Storytelling can suffer from things being just crazy, these panels all over the place. And I, later took that to heart, but at the time, I thought he was crazy. I would sit and spend the time to be able to look at the page and figure out what was going on. This design of Zero is one of my favorite designs of any character ever. He's just a body with a 0 on his blank face and a 0 on his chest, and it's perfect. I think that Alex Toth would be pleased with that. I mean, everything was really about Rob's faces. He was just so good. So here we got some bad minions coming in again. So they really simple faces, just a bar on their head. I think that the reason that they did that so often was just because if you're going to have a bunch of minions, you're going to be drawing a million of them. You're not going to draw anything complex. You want it as simple as possible. And this bullet helmet design is reminiscent of, I think it was like the Golden Age character called the Silver Bullet or something like that. He had like a bullet helmet. Just iconic cable drawing here. What are these things? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what any of this stuff is. Just cool stuff. Todd McFarlane would talk about, just draw cool chains and stuff. The kids will love it. And he was right. All this cyber stuff. These backgrounds are kind of interesting to me, how he just sort of put these shapes. It reminds me of like the backgrounds, the architecture of Star Wars or something. And it works. He's not drawing a lot of complex backgrounds. I couldn't even tell you where they are right now in this story. But, for a kid, it works. There's a little profile on Ree Javins, which is kind of cool because she is now the sort of the head of Marvel, of DC. I'm sorry, head of DC Comics. Rob draws the Statue of Liberty. And you got Cable lounging, and just, you know, again, like, I can't say it enough. Rob's faces were just something. I think a lot of people from my generation sat and drew faces and characters, you know, with tight faces, where you focused on the face, and then big round bodies like this, for years to come. And where a lot of people were really, really heavily influenced by this stuff. And I, for one, am grateful that I got a chance to get a copy of this bad boy, you know, when I was a kid. And this is kind of, this and, you know, the Image stuff that came after it were the thing that cemented me into saying, no, this is my destiny. I'm going to be a cartoonist. So I'm glad I got a chance to share this with you. I hope you liked it. And till next time, thanks for watching. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my Patreon, where at the $3 level I'll send you my sketchbook, The Sketch of the Masters, and at the $5 level I'll send you the sketchbook plus my mini stories, Not Man Nor Beast But Moss, Stench of the Sea, and The Voyeur. At the $8 level, after a year, you'll get a commission. Don't forget to sign up for my newsletter in the show notes. Check out my store, where I have lots of original art. And you can also buy books like Lost Angels, a sci-fi YA adventure about a girl who has to solve a mystery in a crashed alien city. Spectral, a showcase of fear, is about a sinister puppet master who travels from town to town telling tales to children who may never sleep again. You can request a commission at any time just by contacting me. Here is a list of the upcoming conventions that I'll be at the time that this video was released. And don't forget to like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the video. Again, thanks for watching.